Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to another Last Epoch dev stream. As usual, I'm your host, Mike. Hello. How's it going, everybody? Oh, it's good to be back on Friday again. I am coming off a pretty good week last week where we managed to beat Aberroth, Uber Aberroth for the second time. And I think we're gonna see how well we can do just farming some Uber Aberroth here. I do want to see if we can get our corruption up over 2,000. That might be tricky. We'll see what we can do. We're gonna ease in, get a few little echoes rolling here. Let me open up the questions document so I actually have that ready to rock. There we are. We just have a cemetery there. This is our highest one. Ooh, we have a confluence. Let's go to a confluence. That's where we want to be. Didn't even notice it last time. Welcome back. If this is your first time here, thanks for coming. Glad to have you with us. If you have a question for me, please put at Last Epoch Game in the question, or just at Last Epoch on YouTube, and we will get that filtered over. I will take a look at it. Thank you. We've already got people doing stuff. I recognize the sound now. Oh, I need to update my in-game audio. Oh, we can't stop. We're on... Oh, come on. They have this about here, music here, that about there. Close enough. Oh, much better. Alright. Ooh. Our key things we're hunting for today is gloves. Our gloves are they've got the attack speed, which is nice. They've got some crit avoidance, which is nice, and they got the frailty, which is nice, but like I feel like we can do better. So I'm looking for gloves. Looking for a ring. I feel like we do better on the ring front too. That one, we did upgrade that recently, so you know. Boots, use some love. There's room for little upgrades all over the place. We are hunting for a Nihilis, I think. A good one. We do stream for charity. Bump ahead. Child's Play. Cool people over there. Yeah. We'll hop right in and get some questions answered. I'll get this one right out of the way first. I do have teasers. I got stuff to share. I got stuff to show. We're ramping up to patch. We've got the release date live. Feels great to have that live. Oh my goodness. Whew. That's such a weight off my shoulders. All right. With all the experience and knowledge the team has gained over the years, are there any core mechanics you now wish would have been done differently looking back? Oh, good question. Yes, definitely. Which is the most interesting to talk about. I think the procedural generation in the dungeon mechanics. That's the one I would like to be the most have been done differently from the start. I think dungeons have such a huge potential as a mechanic for us in game, and there's a few little missteps in how they were implemented, and then we've had to kind of band-aid them a couple times, and it's never quite landed perfectly. That's something that I'm really interested in improving. Oh, okay, that was tough. Almost died. So yeah, I think dungeons would be the one that I would make the most changes to from scratch. Procedural generation being like true procedural generation, having specific mechanics be more tied to the dungeon ability. I'd love to see a meta progression involved with dungeons. So I'd love to see things where you are able to basically like Weaver's Tree. Weaver's Tree, my goodness, don't die, Mike. Having Weaver's Tree nodes that like relate to dungeons more, so that they can scale properly into endgame. I think things like that would be really key for it to shine. See, right now it feels kind of like a vestigial mechanic I think it just has so much potential. So yeah, we are working on procedural generation in general, and one of the places I hope to extend that to in the future is done. Ooh, good. We don't need to go down there right now. We do need to unload. Yeah. How's the Bahamas? Wouldn't that have been nice? I did not go to the Bahamas. I'm sorry. I was in Texas. I did go to my first card convention though, which was really cool. Got to meet Christopher Judge, Teal, or Kratos, or yeah, so cool. He was awesome. That was that was a dream come true moment for me, for sure. Had no idea he was gonna be there. Just saw him standing there, and I was like, you know, the fangirl inside me came out very quickly. All right, I was wondering if you guys would consider having supporter packs be upgradable. If not, is there a reason behind it? As far as I'm aware, the supporter packs not being upgradable was a limitation of the structure of how they were put into Steam. And it wasn't a, like, we don't want them to be upgradable moment. It was a trade-off for how they were implemented. And sort of a concession that we had to make, rather than a intentional thing. So, if there's a way we can fix that, I am all ears. Because yeah, I think that'd be very good. We get, oh no, not good. All right. From my understanding, the new marketing team already started implementing their strategy for social media at least. Can you share any goals / reasoning for the new marketing and what your expectations in the short term? Yeah, there's you may notice that there's been some like some shorts that have come up from stream and things like that. As far as I know, that's like the tip of the iceberg sort of thing of what's coming that's different. There's a lot more organization around it right now. So as we're answering questions, as I'm answering this question, I can see that at 12 minutes and 55 seconds in the stream is when this question is being answered, so that we can get to it easier for potentially packaging it as something that gets released later on. So I think it's a lot of just utilizing better organization to be able to share things out in different packages. As far as getting specific strategies out for like how we're going to share specific information, things like that. The one thing that I'm really pushing for is to always have a clear next milestone visible for all of you. So like when you there was that period when we didn't really know when the trailer was coming, and it was sort of this like nebulous, like it's coming at some point, but we don't know when. Always having that next, like, here's the next big announcement date visible is sort of the main thing that I'm really focusing on. Okay, this is a tough fight. I do not expect to survive this. yeah. Come on. Nice. Okay, one down. Those some tense moments there. One down. Will there be another story chapter for next season, or is it postponed to the expansion and season's focus on new skills and mechanics? Yeah, there was never a season. Sorry, there was never a story chapter planned for season 5. Both the remaining story chapters are coming for season 6, with the release of the expansion with Last Epoch Orbis. It's going to be a big story drop that's going to wrap up the primary saga, the primary Orbis saga. It's going to be great. Very excited for that. Get for another boss here. This is a tough gauntlet for me because I'm still so squishy. And at any moment, these bosses can just like one-shot me. Like that. 9k. I almost survived. Wow, I could have taken like an 8k hit. That's crazy. That's crazy. Okay. That might be too much for me. See, Nihilis is a real contender as far as like an upgrade here. So if we're looking at what it's actually giving us, like the resistances, we don't need that many more resistances than just 10 to all. So we might be able to shore up the rest from a nice corruption. We don't use evade that often. Do we go farm Aberroth a little bit? Just regular Aberroth a little bit? Huh? Maybe get a few more of those. Regular Aberroth can drop it, right? I'm not crazy. Mike's not crazy. I'm a little crazy. Just buy one off Merchant's Guild. I always forget that I'm in the Merchant's Guild still. Yes, normally he does. Okay, good. That's what I thought. Good evening, Mike. Good evening. Hope you've been well. I have. Any news on the Chronicler class? This is an idea someone posted on stream a while ago. I thought it was a good idea. There's no tangible progress whatsoever on it. If it ever might happen, I don't know. I do think it's a cool idea though. What's like a 2 LP Nihilis worth? Probably way too much. We can afford that. What? That's not crazy. Ones aren't even that expensive. Wow. Okay, is there a 1 with a +2 all skills? I don't want to get stuck in here in the shop. I do this too much. Okay. Oh yeah, okay, the all-res range is the problem, right? 14. So let's do 12. Let's see what we get. Okay. Like we kind of need armor to be positive too. We don't really care about the other ones that much. We can stop using evade. Right? Right? Okay, there's some stuff in here. I'm gonna go see if we can farm a couple more. But there's some options in there. That's good to know. So new season revamps, factions and stuff. IDK, I don't know if it's been clarified that endgame factions are also included in that revamp. The primary thing we're targeting is the item factions, specifically the item factions. So there's a huge update to the Circle of Fortune and the Merchants Guild. Like, I'd say Circle of Fortune will be almost unrecognizable, and Merchants Guild will have, I think, 2 features that are going to be like industry adopted at some point soon. New features and other stuff too, and like everything else is changing. Not everything else is changing, but a very significant update to the rest of it too. Oh, we should have started that earlier. Do you guys in 2-week sprints? Yeah, and not super strict, but yes. And if not, can you tell us about your development process and how it changed since acquisition? It's really interesting to know how the sprints form and what they do form around seasons. Yeah, so we do generally do roughly 2-week sprints. It's not like a hard and fast rule of every single department has to function exactly the same, and every single one of them has to function exactly in a 2-week sprint system. But generally speaking, yeah, it's in a 2-week sprint. And we like, just this morning we were doing our sprint review and our sprint planning for the next sprint. They don't, the seasons overlap in their development. So like we've got stuff for the next season and the season after that going. And we're picking up everything. I think that's okay to not pick up those things because they won't show up. Yeah, that'll be fine. Nope, we're not doing that. We'll do a couple. Maybe we'll get a. I want to stick one in, because I do have a decent one to put in the Nemesis. As far as how development process has changed since acquisition, there hasn't been huge changes. There's like, I'd say a little bit better organization in general. That's mostly just because we've been, expanding, improving our processes, not necessarily things that have been like mandated or anything like that. That's just us improving the way we do things. New people that have come on with good ideas. Nice. If you could implement one thing in the game in 1 minute, considering everything is possible, imagine having a one-time deploy button which insta-builds for you a stable release. What would it be? It may be something that you wish you would be in the game, but is way too much for now. So I can just like snap my fingers and anything gets added to the game right now. A full proper procedural generation system. Absolutely. That's an easy one. I would, and this is like when I was just talking about dungeons earlier. It would be a procedural generation, complete functional system where I can just I can put in parameters and be like, there's where you could like define levels by specific parameters and it would just generate them instantly. And you could just like swap out tile sets perfectly, and you could set specific points for quests to happen in there, or like where they have to be after this but before this and things like that. Yeah, it would just be a full procedural generation system that just worked out of the box perfect. Be amazing. I think that's one of the key things we're missing for generating new types of content and just expanding the dungeon system in general. I am so jealous. I would love to meet Teal. Yeah, meeting Teal was pretty good. He was so friendly. His arms are gigantic. His arms are huge. I couldn't believe it. The man definitely works out. All right. Hi, Mike. Can you tell us what skill does the druid set item focus on? I can, and I will in like half an hour. Okay. Deep breath. It's okay. We'll get there. All right, come on, give me an amulet. Give me an amulet. And the last one, will there ever be a last Epoch 2? Maybe in 10 years? What do you think? I sure hope so. I want there to be a last Epoch 2, a last Epoch 3, a last Epoch 4. I would keep doing this for as long as it's available for me to keep doing. No. Like, let's build a franchise forever, right? You know? I'm sure they're working on Diablo 5 by now. Let's get there too, right? I've been having some fun with the mage class again and really wanted to build around Ice Barrage, but noticed the skill feels very underutilized. Barely any synergy with other skills and no uniques affecting it at all. Any plans to tweak the skill, give it some items in the future? Oh yeah. It's funny you mentioned Ice Barrage. Ice Barrage recently was the complete bane of my existence for about a month. Maybe more even. And I kept having problems with it. I kept just being like, okay, I'm putting it aside. I'll come back to it in a week. I'm gonna work on something else for a while because I just can't deal with it anymore. Ice Barrage was very frustrating to deal with. But yes, we've recently done some cool things with Ice Barrage. You'll see that in Elio. Give me some gear. I want some gear. I need a potion because I don't trust that to disappear. When looking at the overall state of Rogue versus Primalist right now, which master feels like it needed more attention during the development of Season 5, Blade Dancer or Shaman? Like, they both needed attention for very different reasons, I would say, and like Shaman needed more attention in the sense that it needs, it needs, you know, to be brought up a little bit to function, and not really function, but to shine, let's say. I feel like I'm cruising on a Blade Dancer right now. How can I fix this without... Okay, this is... We're going to dump it over here a little bit. We're going to dump it in the corner. I want to know if dropping something on the ground that wasn't from this persists. I need you to. We'll do something that wasn't just dropped. No, this wasn't just dropped. You can also hide those items. I don't care if we do. Gonna drop some goodies here. Amulet is proving to be difficult to find, so we may give up and go do some more fun stuff. Let's keep going and let's try and find a way to imprint. Not imprint. Egg the Nihilis that we do have. I want to egg the Nihilis because I think it's a pretty good one. So we're gonna go. We're just gonna keep going down here. Do a little arena. Do a little arena. Hi, Mike. Thanks for not only answering Aaron's questions. I mean, you really, if you want me to like really answer it, you got to tell me that Aaron wants to know, or else why else am I answering it, right? Do you expect to change how minion builds work in the future so that players have more abilities or buttons to press, like a channeled frenzy for necroskeletons? Yeah, I think that there's definitely room for more variety in the way minions play. I think at the same time though, it's a tricky combination because frequently I think what minion players are looking for, not always, but frequently what minion players are looking for is that like minions go, cool, you guys are doing great, type gameplay style. And making a really strong minion build that functions in a high APM can sometimes be frustrating for players that aren't looking for it. where they say like, oh, here's the niche that my playstyle fits in, or thematic desire fits in, but the playstyle doesn't. And that disconnect can be, oh, you drop anything in there. You drop anything in there. That's funny. That is fixed, by the way. Absolute fixed. So yeah, but at the same time, I do think that there is room for more variety in the way minion builds do play out. It's just as long as we're maintaining that the typical fashion does line up with the expectations at the same time. When the dev team designs new item sets, do you usually pick a underutilized core skill to build around or bolster an already popular playstyle? Both happen. There's not really one method. So there's generally like, there's two main, like, let's say overarching ways that new items get built. And that's like a top down or bottom up design. And that's the difference of starting with a, like, I want Fireball to chain. I want chaining Fireball versus I want to feel like a Fire Mage. And it's that difference in where you're starting from a really purely mechanical or purely thematic standpoint. That's usually the big divide in how we're building unique items. If we're coming at it from a pretty mechanical point, we are often looking at like underutilized skills. I think that's a pretty common way to look at it. But not every underutilized skill, like fixing it through an item, isn't always the best option. And sometimes as well, you get into creating supporter uniques as well. And frequently those will come when you are looking at it from a mechanical standpoint, come from, hey, there's a build I really like to play. Here's what I want to add to that build. Which totally works. Oh, I hear a loot lizard. Come back here. You guys hear that right now? Test. Do you hear anything weird? Yeah, it's not picking it up. Sweet. I am I'm over top the garage now in the new place, and my wife just opened the garage door. So I want to be like, can you hear that? But it didn't look like it was being picked up. You really like to call out procedural generation and using that more in the maps. Yes, have you guys considered other modes or endgame activities that can utilize that mechanic? I hate to be that guy, with something like Tower/Pit in Diablo 4. Yes, we've definitely considered adding other game modes that can use procedural generation. Yes, that is, I wouldn't say like forefront of mind, but it is, it's definitely up there. I think that's I like this item. I worked on that item. That was a support one. Cool one. And I think there's definitely room for, you know, other endgame activities that really lean heavily on procedural generation. There's room for other activities that don't as well, but I think that it's one of those just tools. I guess the reason I bring it up so much is because it's a tool that I know exists in other ARPGs, and I know it works really well in certain situations in other ARPGs, and I really want to use that tool because I think there's cool ways we can use it. I think there's certain mechanics in our game, there's certain game modes in our game that would benefit from having it. There's certain game modes that we just can't make yet in the game that would love to have it as well. And just from as a designer standpoint, I want another tool to be able to make new cool stuff with. All right, what do we get? Lots of poison res on that. Oh, didn't even highlight it. A 3LP snowblind, that's a cool item. A 2? 6, 7. Morning Frost. Cool item. Okay. We need another. We need another Nemesis. I want to put that Nihilis in. So new season revamp factions and stuff. Oh, I already answered that. Yeah, hey Mike, the CCs in Germany don't cover LE anymore. RIP. That's too bad. The interest went very low. Are there plans to recover this? I mean, I think the best thing we can do to try and recover that interest is pumping out awesome content. So yeah, we're always looking to bring numbers up all over the globe. I think that one of the key things that I think a lot of people are hoping for is that consistent release cadence. That's one of the most important things that we need to really improve upon, and we've got a roadmap to that laid out. Like season 7, season 8, season 9, those have to drop really fast and be consistent as soon as LEO comes out. I think that's gonna be the true test. All right, let's do a super high corruption for me on my window and see if we can survive. Also, I just want to point out that I do know what that Shaman Blade Dancer question was really asking earlier. I know it might seem like sneaky. Ooh. Yeah. Cool, but eh. Here we go. Oh, I saw 3 affixes and thought it might be a free prefix, but it's not. Okay, that's less good, but still fun. We'll craft on that in a minute. Is there any chance the future of the origins of classes would return? Ah, yes, that little blurb at the start. I thought that was really cool. I like that a lot. I could really see that returning as like a... Okay, I'll read the rest of the question, sorry. It was a great distinction and unique story for each character in the beta that were cut on release. Yeah, I think that's a really cool way to incorporate a like unique storyline for each character. I'd really like to see that show up as like a quest line for each class. I think that'd be really cool, where you could like trigger maybe a unique cutscene. Maybe there's a different class, maybe there's a different quest for each class. Don't know what the red one is, but I know it's a good one. Ooh, 1 LP. Fine. We're kind of 2 or bust at this point. We still got that 3 that we're sitting on that I'm like tempted to try and roll. If it gets down to the end of the season, we're gonna roll it. Okay, on the 25th, if it hasn't sold by the 25th, or I haven't found like if it hasn't sold by the 25th, I'm going to roll it. I'll look for an item to put on it starting now, and I will corrupt it on the 25th. Yeah, okay, there we go. That's what we want. '25th of September, by the way, not August. Is it NIH? NIH. There's one there. And the all res on that's pretty weak. I should bring these to here. We've got a few of these. We got more of these than I thought. one's already got an LP. What? That one's actually pretty good. I could just do that one right there. What am I doing? What am I doing mucking about with this for? That one's pretty sweet too. If this rolls LP, I will be thrilled. Alright, which way are we gonna go? Let's do this one. Hey Mike, have you played any more Fangs? Grim Dawn. They implemented auto pickup for components. Turns out the radius is small enough and the items are not immediately pickable after dropping until they hit the ground. Players still need to intentionally, see what you did there, get the loot. Why would this not work in LE with shards? I think it would. I think this would work. Yeah. I think that's a good option. I think there's we do have some bigger plans for changes to shards in general. I think this is something we've talked about in the past. I think the system worked really well when we had far fewer shards, and now that we've got so many different shards and the ability to get the ones you need in a quantity you need fairly trivially, the system's kind of not functioning the way it used to, and it needs a bit of a refresh. Personally, I'd really like to start treating shards as like I'd love to rework the system such that shards were treated more like a recipe than a material, than a recipe than a resource. That's the word I'm looking for. I mean, health's not bad. Like, what else are we gonna put on that, really? Yeah, I don't hate that. Res in some fashion would have been nicer, but maybe we can get that if we empower it, or corrupt it. There they are. Our experiment. Oh, hello. Came to me. That was so nice. Aww. Oh, cool. That was something we were looking for a while ago. We got lots of questions building up. I will try to be faster. When a build ends up trivializing high corruption content way past what the team intends, does the dev team prefer addressing that through mechanic/system rebalances and major updates, or by addressing individual skill nodes? I think typically more in individual skill nodes. At the same time, it can indicate issues in the system as a whole. I'd say individual skill nodes, and then like we are working on a pretty big mechanic system rebalance right now for the future. So I think in general the latter, but sometimes the former too. There's not really a one size fits all answer to a lot of these issues. I think that's what makes it so interesting to work on as well, is that you have to find the specific solution for the specific problem. There is, I think in this case in particular, what we're referring to is typically the like, I don't want to open the ladder and see how high they are right now, but there's a couple that are a little ridiculous. I think for the most part, there's a couple specific nodes that are an issue. The problem with addressing it through nerfing individual nodes is that you end up hitting the builds that aren't exploiting that system as well. It's fine. Fine. We'll corrupt it. It'll be great. It's gonna be amazing. Okay. Oh. We're not waiting. We're not waiting. I don't care. We're doing it in combat. We're doing it live. Oh. I mean, it's like good and bad, because now it's like it really nukes you when you evade, but everything else is amazing. I mean, that's pretty sweet, right? What happens to our resistances? That's the key question here, is what happens to our resistances? Because if any of them aren't maxed anymore, it's kind of an issue. Yeah, it's an issue. Cold and necrotic. We can fix that with idols, probably. This is interesting, because this gives us a ton more. This gives us more health, mana regen, armor, which is all very useful for us right now. Interesting. Okay, we're gonna leave this on for now, and we're gonna fix our skills. Fix our skills. Okay, and here's the problem we have as well. Mike needs to consult his list. This one and this one. Yep, we're learning. This one. Check before I just click. This one. This one. Yep, and this one. Yep. Here? Yep. Here and over here, I think? Yep. Oh, we're getting pretty good at that. Something we shouldn't have to be good at. That's another one of those things I can't wait to fix. We are working on it. It will happen. We should tighten up our loot filter, I think. And there's a lot of things showing that we can just do away with. I might also give a shot to a new character. We've got like another month here. I might dabble in some mage, possibly. That could be fun. There was one I was considering doing for a while there. Is there any interest in seeing me go through the campaign on stream, or should I level it off stream? On stream? Okay. I'll save it for on stream. Do you plan to make the game support multi-threading / utilize all CPU cores? I do not know the limitations or I guess the cost or benefit to doing that right now. That is the sort of thing that I would ask an engineer what the best thing to do is. It seems like the sort of thing that would be very advantageous. It also seems like the sort of thing that might be a limitation of the engine and might not actually be advantageous. It may also come with a whole bunch of really big problems that I just don't know about. It may also be one of those things where, because we didn't build a lot of the underlying systems with that in mind, there's a whole bunch of issues. Like, does it cause a ton of race conditions or something? That would be a pain. I was under the impression we did a lot of multi-threading stuff already. There may be like a limited version that we're doing or something. I don't know. Yeah, like there's enough race conditions that already get generated from doing just networking stuff in general. So like there's certain situations where you'll like create something and it'll function, and then as soon as you introduce like an extra 10 milliseconds of lag, all of a sudden you're like, well, it doesn't work anymore because the thing you were doing, it worked because there was very little lag and you got the information back from the server at the right time and it all functioned. But because the information from the server didn't come back fast enough, suddenly it doesn't work anymore. That's frustrating. We're doing runes. Do we have enough? I don't think we will. Petals. Not a lot of petals, actually. We have enough if we do this. 35, one more. Hey-o. This, there we go. Three, two. I mean, our existing one's not amazing, and this one's not amazing. But you know what we can do with it? We can roll a new one. Let's roll a new one. Sweet, okay.
Trading with
All
you.
right. That Nihilis is very interesting. We are going to get... What do we want in the amulet slot? Is it just health? Is it just flat T7 health? I feel like we already have... I guess I should do amulet instead. Can we mess with that into being a health? It would probably cost us all of our havocs to do because we'd have to do this. Make a lot of instead. Wait, is health a prefix or a suffix? That's what I thought. Okay, good. This. This. I've been using these. This. There we go. The roll on it. It's fine. Okay, let's go do one of those. Let's go slam. Let's go slam one. Let's have some fun. Slam an amulet. What are your thoughts on the current state of channeled skills? I find they tend to be seen in a negative light right now. Do you think the new paladin skill will be seen this way too? Is this like a subtle attempt to get me to tell you if the new paladin skill is channeled or not? That's good. That's really good. You like almost got me. That's really good. Wow, that was good. That was subtle. That was subtle. Okay, I think channeled skills in general, it creates an interesting gameplay trade-off. I think a lot of times players don't want to make that. We're just gonna switch, and I'm not even gonna risk it. You know, I think I can kill her in one cycle. She died before. Oh, I ran away like a coward. I should have just stayed and fought. That's funny. Okay, channeled skills. I think the channeled skills create an interesting gameplay opportunity, and I think that a lot of times players don't want to stand still for them. And I think that's a natural thing. I think there's a very fine line between what's strong enough to stand still for and what's not. And often the what's strong enough to stand still for is just like so unbelievably powerful that it's like kind of too strong. That's why I think you get a lot of like nice balance in the certain abilities where you can add really slow movement to the channeled ability and have it still let you reposition a little bit, but there's this like heavy slow that goes with it. I think those ones are when the channeling abilities become really successful. I think in a situation where a skill is designed from the ground up to be channeling that is movable, Warpath being the prime example, you do get really fun gameplay from a channeling skill, and I really like that. So I really love to see more of those opportunities. I think there is opportunity for us to take existing skills and give them that treatment in some situations. I think in general, having a more like mobile and active casting framework for using abilities while moving in general would give us a better path to do that with. Okay, which one's better? +4 all res is better, but it's not amazing. There we go. Slam a big old health on there. Oh my god, we got the health! Yeah! Corruption! Item ruined. There's a trophy. That's why you only slam a corruption when you have a backup. It's okay. That's okay. Let's go find another one. Let's go find another one. Kind of want to just go buy one now. Oh, what's happened to me? Okay, more questions. I'm way behind on the questions. I apologize. I might do a little questions break here. Will you guys release for Xbox Play Anywhere? Xbox Play, like, this is, sorry, I do not know the details of this platform. I assume this is the new, like, Xbox Now sort of thing, or that's GeForce Now. I don't know. I don't have any info on this. I think that if there's a way to get Last Epoch on more platforms, I'm in. But I haven't heard anything about this, so no info. I apologize. My question is inspired by PoE 2 ability to tame bosses. Ah, yes. Cool. To tame bosses, do you think there's room in LE to do something like that? For example, convince an exiled mage not to kill you and ally instead. Yeah, I do. I think it would have to, like, the most exposure I've had with this, I haven't played it in PoE 2 yet. I've seen the info on it. The most I've played a game that had something like this is the Warlock in D2, which was so much fun. Like, good golly, that was fun. We were playing, my buddy and I were playing, and he just like made an offhand comment that just got me. He's like, he started singing the Pokemon theme song like in spoken word, and it took me a second to realize what he was doing, and I'm like, oh my god, we are literally playing Pokemon in Diablo 2 right now, because all we were doing was hunting down the best monster to capture. Oh, come on! 10 overkill damage. 10 overkill damage. No! I didn't hit potions fast enough. That was my mistake. That's okay. It's not gone. We'll get it back. I love it. I think it'd be fantastic. Do I think we could do it in Last Epoch? I sure hope so. That's the sort of thing that I would love to do. I think there'd be certain enemies that we'd have to like revamp a little bit to make that work nice. I think just out of the box, if we just slapped that on, it would not. There'd be some really broken stuff that would have to get fixed right away, sort of thing. And I think it would have to be a situation where there's like, you know, like mini bosses only, Like size is a bit of an issue in general. Like champions would have to get sized down. There's like certain abilities that they'd have to get, like all of their abilities. Okay, so here's the problem. All their abilities are spec'd specifically to be enemy abilities. So there's sort of like 3 classes of abilities that get created. There's player abilities, minion abilities, and enemy abilities. And they're all designed and built differently under the hood. So there'd have to be like a tamed version of the enemies that were tameable. I think that's part of the reason why D2 did it as demons, so that you could limit the scope of the number of enemies that you were taming. And so there'd have to be like specific enemies that you could do it for, and we'd have to like make specific versions of them to go with it. I think it'd be super cool. I'd love to. Nice. That's a lot of stuff. I avoid prophecies for siege golems because I can never remember where to find them. And by the time I find them, I have my items from elsewhere. Will that change with the COA free work? Yes. Yeah, you'll be good. Don't worry. Hey Mike, can you explain to me how you balance builds and classes? What do you compare them to? Certain corruption, clear. We do. It's not like a. I think there's a misconception in the term balancing, where there's this like expectation of at 300 corruption we sort of like put every class in a 300 corruption scenario and see what happens. Then we put every class and just like see what happens, or we like level each class to hit 300 corruption and like see how fast it goes or something like that. It's a curve for every situation, and you can't test every situation. So there's the gloves. We gotta craft on those. Yeah. I forgot about those gloves. Okay, what do we need? We need to strip off one of the prefixes. We need to strip off both the prefixes, really. Nice. We also don't care about that. I guess we could chaos them first. Did it just chaos into the thing we just stripped off? Strength. Okay, strength is good actually. But we need attack speed. We can't use this. Dang it. Maybe we leave it. Infernal? Is that what it's called? What's it called? Grape chill? That's it, right? No, it's not. We're just ruining this. That's all we're doing. That's fine. Pretend that didn't happen. Whoops. We'll find another one. That wasn't that good of a base anyways. Let's keep moving. Aaron said there were about 20 new teasers coming today. Can you confirm? I can not confirm that because there's just 2. But you know what? I think it's time for one. I think you've waited long enough. You've been very patient. Do you want to start with Aaron? I was joking. Too bad. They said you said it, so you said it. Deal with it. All right, let's start with the piece that we've already half spoiled. We've given you the visuals of it. What do we think? Do we think it? What were the 2 for the chest that we gave you the visuals for? There were 2 skills that everyone thought it was going to be. It was either going to be Spriggan or Roots, right? That's what everyone thought. Well, here we are! Caretaker's Regrowth is a Primalist set item, body armor. Does have spell and minion spell damage on the base. Reduces the mana cost for entangling roots. Area for area skills. Armor +3 to entangling roots. Or 2 to 3, so it could be 2 as well. More damage with entangling roots per 2 increased area for area skills. It's a bunch of entangling roots damage. New way to scale entangling roots. But also, you autocast entangling roots every 3 seconds while moving is the set bonus. And it is just a 2 set bonus. So, taking bets now as to what the other piece to this set is. Some people were asking what the, I think it might have been last, or 2 weeks ago, there was a question about like what's getting the most stuff. And I mentioned Primalist as one of the biggest winners of stuff that it was getting. Part of the reason for that was, a big part of the reason for that was the amount of items that are coming that are associated with it. Probably the biggest reason. I think Primal's got the most new items. The 2 Rift Beasts? Oh, this like, that's a lot of Rift Beasts already. And I realize where we are. And I'm playing. I'm doing it. No, I'm doing it. Classic Mike. Here we go. I'm prepped. I'm ready. I will post that image on Discord. So if you want to get the full res image in a moment here. I didn't do it last time. I had to do it this time. You know, it was totally intentional and not at all an accident. And yeah, right. All right, so the main teaser is now in the Acides channel on Discord. If you want to go grab that image, it is there, so you don't have to screenshot it. Because I would much prefer having high-res versions of that image out there instead of low-res one. All right, let's answer some questions. Are personal items going to get some love in the future? I found them to be fascinating, but missing something to make them awesome. Yeah, personal items are in a weird spot. Okay, I think that's a good call out. They kind of what they amounted to being is kind of like a unique item for like a snapshot in time, where they're only really useful at a very specific moment for very specific builds. And they were that's too bad. And they were really like really focused and targeted because you can't craft on them. They're never going to be useful in endgame. And I think there's some potential for some cool mechanics there. It's another one of those sort of vestigial systems that I think has room to grow. There's not a huge plan to do much with them right now. So I wouldn't expect big changes there. But, or just yet. That is definitely a target for the future. I think there's room to expand on that system. You know, like room to expand on the system or recapture the term and convert the existing personal items just into uniques sort of thing. I think that's an option too. And just convert all the personal items into uniques. And then and give them like fixed, ooh, that's cool. Give them fixed drop points in the campaign and then make a new system for personal items. I think that's another option too. Should be cool. I didn't realize that I had a shrine on that was freezing things for a second there, and there was a small part of me that was sitting there going like, is that a new enemy I somehow didn't know about? And like, thought I was like, why isn't it doing anything? Nope, just a frozen enemy. All right, any plans to add more aura-like skills? D2, PoE1, maybe on items like gain X aura when equipped, or buff pets like Tyrant Skull. Any plans to add MTX for it? Also, pet girl when? I would love to see a combat roll. I think that would be amazing. There was actually something someone pitched yesterday that I think would fit pretty well to include it. Oh no! I just got popped. We still get our gear though. Love that so much. That's one of my favorite things we did, is that just like you die with stuff on the ground and you get it still. I love that so much. I think there's room for more auras. Yeah, I think there's the fixed aura of what you get in like with Holy Aura is really great. I think there's room for situational auras where like either like an item that gives you an aura, or some mechanic that gives you a buff that gives you an aura, or like a specific encounter that if you complete certain tasks in there you get auras, things like that. Like I can see there's room for some cool stuff there. We're not going to give up on this. Would you consider having the last week of season turn into a supercharged mechanics? So the corruption of season 4 would only give positive corruptions like maximum stats or adding multiple T7 affix suffixes. I think that's super cool. I think the big problem with that is that like legacy does exist. And it does kind of trivialize or like, I think it puts people in a situation that play legacy where in order to get the best stuff in legacy you're suddenly having to go play seasonal, which I think is frustrating for a lot of players, and we'd probably not want to do that. Maybe if it like, I feel like it gets too convoluted. So like the solution to that is, okay, well, time box it. So you can say like, okay, anything that happens after this point doesn't actually happen. Like you make the rollover happen, and you put everything else in like a bubble and say like, okay, well, nothing that happens in the last week matters because the rollover's already happened. Something like that. Yeah, I don't know. I do like the idea in general of having like wacky times that break the rules. Just in general. Ring, you know what we can use that ring for now though, because it has 1 LP. We can use it to re-roll. Oh no, it's corrupted, dang it. We need to be patient and do this before we corrupt things. That's what we can do. We could buy really bad Nihilises and use them to re-roll a good one. Everyone in chat's just like, yeah, obviously, Mike. We're not going back for that key. All right, from an itemization standpoint, does the team feel like target farming specific build enabling items is a good place? Or are you exploring new sync mechanics for endgame crafting? I think that there's like, if there's an endgame build that you can't play the same class in the same rough theme to get to those build enabling uniques, that's an issue. So if you're like, the only way to play a minion class at endgame is to get this one specific item, but that one specific item requires you to have an endgame build. It means you can't play a minion class to get to that point, and that's frustrating. But if it was like a small subset of minion builds where it's like, okay, you can't play a here's a good example actually, that you can't play a multi, like a more than 2, because 2 exists in the tree. You can't play like a 4 or 5 golem build without getting Aaron's unique. Aaron, you're just top of mind because you're in chat there. And I think it's okay that that exists, where you have to find that item, because you can still play a golem based build to get that item. I think a good example of when that's not okay, and we have put systems in place to avoid that, is like a low life build. So it's a much more broad concept, and Sanguinus enables that in a lot of situations. But in order to get there, there's the Shroud of Obscurity, I think. So that's usually what we do for more broad situations of build enabling items, we have like a stepping stone item. But if you can still play the general theme to get there, it generally doesn't need one. So much stuff. We love the stuff. All right. Well, let's do the boss. Let's do that. I mean, we might as well, right? Please, please, please tell me you guys are doing some podcast tours to build up hype for season 5. We're still working out some scheduling stuff right now, but I think people will be pleasantly surprised. Are you planning to have podcasts with streams for this coming season? See my last answer. Any chance to get decorations for the little island you TP to after each echo? I'd love to have my pets that aren't always following me just be chilling on it. Yeah, I think so. The what's the term we use for it? Echo of a world. I think it's the actual term in game. The scene name's Emrest. Yes, I think that sort of thing is a very good call out. I would love to do it. I'm not sure exactly what that looks like yet, but it's the sort of thing we've hinted at that so many times. That I think if we were going to do something like that, I think that's a good, like if we're going to do a hideout system, I think that's a good target to look at for it. The first step is going to be, because you can't waypoint to that zone right now. It's kind of a weird zone. It doesn't really exist in the normal world of like the scene structure. It kind of exists as its own little bubble as part of the monolith echo. So when you it doesn't exist anywhere as like a place you can just go to until you're in an echo, because the only way you may or may not notice, the only way to get to it right now is through an echo. So you have to be like in an echo, die or portal or succeed and portal out sort of thing, and that's the only way you actually ever get to it. So I think that the first step would be we'd have to structure that to be a scene that you could just waypoint to. It'd have to be like on the map somewhere. It would need a map entry. So until there's like a point that you could just like go to for it, probably not, just from a like gameplay structure. But I think it's a good call out. I think that's the sort of thing that would fit really well. For my last question on my list, when picking which class skills or masteries get visual or mechanical passes, do you prioritize older masteries that feel left behind or classes that lack build diversity? I mean, both are very strong reasons to do it. I don't know if one gets the nod over the other. I think probably it's like some combination of underutilized, older, just like hasn't had new things done to it in a long time. Really when there's the new heat maps have been really eye-opening as well. I think when the heat maps are really one note and really strong in a specific way, it can indicate the need for some shakeups to happen, just in general. Follow up on the blurb for the classes. Could we expand that concept and have the different have relationships with one another? For example, it was implied from the mage and acolyte blurbs. Oh, I see what you're saying. Sorry. That he was a failed mentor and that she was the rogue student when they spoke about each other. Yeah. So the initial blurb was the acolyte started out as a disciple of the mage, and she basically was like, I want to do things that are kind of bad and not so natural. Some might seem unnatural, and the acolyte went off to pursue their own path and left the mage's tutelage. I think if we did have things like that, we would probably try to expand those the backstories, and like I'd love to do that. I love to do that sort of stuff. I think that's a good thing to look at for probably targets in a post LEO world where we still want to have expansions on the storyline. Sometimes that looks like looking backwards instead of looking forwards. I kind of want to try this again. Let's see if we can. Okay. I gotta get another Aberroth kill in. That's gotta happen, right? We need a quick cemetery. Pretty well, nothing that drops in here is worthwhile for us because this is so low in corruption. I mean, not nothing, but okay. Call my bluff. I'll pick that up. Can someone look into putting out a tweet or news notifying when the shop has stuff on sale? Rotate/MTX. Been waiting for a cosmic erasing strike. That's a cool idea. I would put that in the suggestions channel on our Discord, and people will see that. Once Ellie has enough content in Monoliths, will it gain more target farming that you specialize in, potentially gain more tradable currency item specific farm? Yeah, having tradable currency is a pretty big kettle of fish. I think we're probably going to avoid having tradable currency items for now. It's not to say it'll never happen, but it's not something that's like on the radar. Yeah. Sure. It could be anything. It could even be a boat. You know how much we want one of those. Okay, I need a cemetery. I need a cemetery. Please spawn me a cemetery. Will there be more types of echo chains, and will there be able to make our own echo chain? Make your own echo chains. We don't have any plans for that. New types of echo chains, yeah, we're looking at that. Option to skip Nemesis and power confirm text when? Oh, yeah, because I died to it. It's a good. I like that actually. Yeah, we're looking at a bunch of UI updates soon, eh? I think that's a good target. I'd love to have a lot of just like "don't show me this again" messages, sort of thing. For things that you know you've done a lot of times. You're like, I know this warning. I don't need another one. Do we get two T7s too early? Absolutely, yes. I'd say that's one of... we've been looking at like loot progression throughout the campaign in general, and early endgame. And I think because there's such early T7s, there's this lack of moment where T6s are really an important and meaningful moment. And I'd really like to see us have a situation where like even like 2 T6s is something that you're hunting for and you're excited about at a certain time. But yeah, I think T7s come too fast and too furious for the current like build progression to be healthy. That is something we have been looking at and targeting. It's gonna be a big shakeup in a little while. You won't see that. It's a lot, so you won't see that in season 5. Any plans for an end game rework? Maybe an alternate way to get harbingers to break up the repetitiveness would be helpful. A lot of retention, I think. Yeah, I think like more end game axes would be nice. I think having the same like having harbingers, how does it? I think there would be nice. It would be nice to have a little bit different ways to progress through the corruption ladder in general. I think having harbingers in general probably don't. I don't think harbingers are the issue. I could be wrong with that, but yeah. There's stuff we're working on. That's cool around this. That's gonna be sweet. Mike doesn't know how to say it subtly properly. Still hoping for the options to turn loot lizards into a pet through a quest line. That would be pretty sweet. Or something like that, and have it run around picking up gold and shards for us. I know the team has been hesitant about something like this in the past. It's still the case. Yes, it's still the case. Having specific, having minions that actually actively go and pick things up for you is something that we are actively avoiding. I think the suggestion that came earlier about having like things that have infinite storage, like gold and crafting materials and things like that, the way they currently live, having those be auto pickup and like a short radius, and having to actually go pick them up, but like not actually having to manage to do the exact perfect click on them, I think is the way to do it. I think that's having a pet that goes and does it is a bridge too far, really, is what I think. They're just like hey, there's 2 T6s, yeah. Like that I think should be at some point this is a cool item. And it kind of never is. Good evening, Mike. Good evening. I don't know why I want to take off a top hat every time I say that. I was wondering about next season's items, and I was wondering how many build defining / enabling items we will see. A few examples of the items what ref build defining enabling include Wraith Lord Helm, Squirrel Helm, Reflect Body, Fire Spring and Body, new leaked scaly item. On the scale of don't be expectant for many to brain exploding happy, what would you predict for us? I would put you in the pleasantly surprised category. But at the same time, some of them might be tough to get. There's a few crazy ones. Any chance of adding an indicator to show us which nodes have changed in a skill tree when you change an item that adds skill points? Yeah. We're restructuring that whole the whole respec system for LEO. Hi Mike, will the new corruption system be hardcore friendly? Yes. I mean, as much as the current one is hardcore friendly. We died so many times, my friend and me playing together, grinding corruption. Will there be an update to improve co-op for monolith grinding? Like a linked monolith progression, for example. Yeah, so we are, that is one thing that we are taking into consideration quite a bit with the restructuring of the corruption. This is all LEO stuff, so I don't really want to talk about it too much. But yes, the way co-op works in that is a big target. All right. Any chance we could get ease of use for channeling skills to allow it to toggle them and not need to keep button pushed? For example, for Warpath, ideally as an option because not everyone would want that. I think that's like a pretty good quality of life option that would be nice to have. I can't say anything like that is like sort of actively being worked on right now. I think it's the sort of thing that we've been really hesitant to do in the past, mostly because it's sort of not the how to say it? It's not the normal, like the way things have been done historically with ARPGs, and I think that that's not a great reason to do it. I think that's why we were so hesitant to look at WASD in the first place as well, which is, you know, the same conclusion is why we ended up adding it. Will we see some balancing on class-specific idols? For example, ForgeGuard doesn't have enough idol option. If they are going to a minion build, class-specific idol only give us damage reflect for minions and shared damage for fire, physical, and void, which is helpful. I mean, there's definitely different levels of minion like aptitude for each class, and I think that the idols are a pretty key way that we reflect that. There's a cemetery finally. At the same time, there are some adjustments to that coming. I don't want to get your hopes up specifically on those though. I have a question about item and minion interaction. The item is the unique amulet, True Sight, Glass, and the Rogue's Falcon. You are not your minions is probably going to be my answer to this question. Do you know if it's possible for the Falcon to get a deadly crit stat inherited if the Falcon skill tree marks the Falcon inherits the Rogue crit multi stats? No. Or is it the case that the wording matters and deadly crits do not fall under the general player multi? Yes, the wording matters and it does not fall under the general player crit multi. I hope that was clear. It was! Yes, you are not your minions, and wording is very precise and does matter. A new LE Desire response to Pokemon. I assume that's supposed to be Pokemon story, but it's a typo. Oh my god, please tell me Monster Rancher license is owned by the company that just partnered with the HG. I have no idea. I doubt it. I would be mind blown to a patch note where I could capture and bring mobs to the farm. I could open so many more doors for the possess mob skill that people have asked for before, myself included, and to freak out. Yes, slow the roll on the freak out for sure. Sorry, just because I think it's cool, and I think it's very cool. Doesn't mean it's happening. Me saying that was when we were playing D2, not Ellie, for the record. Those big guys with that jump are surprisingly scary. Okay. We're gonna do another Aberroth kill here. It's gonna happen. Give me one shot. First try, no problem. Right? Right? Down there. All right, let's go. We're running. I've missed some streams, but love the game, and I do like the chasing the best gear, but chasing idols plus using currency to re-enchant them all the time feels bad. Is there a change coming to where we can chase gear more versus idols? Farming idols doesn't feel good to enchant / re-enchant idols with the currency on the specific map. Also, just so many layers to it for an idol. I'd rather chase gear for days than idols. What are your thoughts on this? My friends hate this. Much rather chase gear versus idols. I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you much prefer chasing gear than idols. Yeah, idols is one of those things that we've. I think that there are too many opportunities for like build-defining idols to show up currently, and I think that puts situations like this where. You feel like in order to finish the build, you need to get very specific items. And I think that's the crux of the problem, because the idols are meant to be a sort of like augment to the builds and the sort of thing that you can make a build function without, but can shine with. And so it carries that tail chase into the deep end game, where your build's functional without them, but it is incredible with them, sort of thing. Hey, a bunch of squirrels. Love to see it. Come here, squirrely boys, let's go. Sick 'em. Mush. Taking him down. Yeah, go for it. Not working as well as I thought. I got your backs, boys. Can you confirm entangling root skill getting any love? It's an oddly, it's an oldie, and Aaron wants to know. I mean, yeah, that way. I got the other half of that set coming in just a few minutes. I got it ready. We're not going to let you linger on half the set wondering what the other half does. You'll see the whole thing. I am curious to know what slot everyone else thinks the other half of that set's going to be. Like helm, glove, belt, ring, amulet, weapon, relic. What do people think? Eagles? No, you don't get to guess. I'm pretty sure you know. Roots sounds like boots. Ah. Oh, we're done here. Let's get out of here. There was a nemesis, but we don't care because we've got a cemetery. Bum, bum, bum. I guess to expand on the question for channeled skills, Smelter's Wrath just seems like to be similar but lesser erasing strike. Ghost Flame seems to be the only used as a as fizz on Lich. I mean, there's for Smelter's Wrath, I think I don't know what the expansion of this question is, so it's hard to respond to this directly. In general, there are a lot of skills that have similarities across classes that are sometimes tough to differentiate. Really, Smelter's Wrath feels like a racing strike? Really? One of them's channel. I'm gonna restructure this question and assume you actually mean Forge Strike. Unless I've got these backwards. Do I have these backwards? I'm like second guessing myself now. No, Smelter's Wrath, I'm right. Forge Strike. Yeah, okay, yeah. I'm gonna assume you mean Forge Strike is like a racing strike. And that does, because they're very similar. I think Forge Strike's identity really comes from the clone your weapon side of it. And it really needs a much more advanced way of cloning your weapon, technically. So it needs a way to take these special stats that are on your weapon and have special interactions on unique items. And it doesn't have that right now. And once we can finally deliver on that core fantasy, that skill is going to sing, and it's going to be great. That's going to take a while to do. That is not even on the roadmap right now, but that's one of my goals. Something I've been trying to do for years, and I will make it happen. Ah, I got you baited into this room. It's okay. We're gonna open these chests. Settle chests. Yeah. All right. Hi, Mike. I know the team are working hard on skill sigils, but it's going to be a one-time thing, or are they going to be more different skill sigil expansions in the future? Can't really talk about the skill sigil system at all right now. I'm sorry. I would love to expand on it. Why are there some low-level characters like level 9 or so with 29,000 corruption on the ladder? Is it like Giga Chad or Giga Cheater? There is a function where you can, it's Giga Chad, not Giga Cheater, is almost certainly what's going on. At most, I would say, like, heavily leveraging a system that wasn't designed to be used that way, sort of thing. And like, I'm using leveraging as like a nice, not really exploiting. That's probably the mean way to say it, because it's not. When you have a legendary item, I don't have a good example of this right now on my character. No, I don't. Okay, legendary items don't increase the level of the item at all, so you can bring 4 T7 affixes onto a level 9 character through the legendary system. On top of that, you can have when you have one character that's really high corruption and you do another one that is really low corruption, it bumps it up super high, all in one go. So it brings up your low level characters to high corruption. On top of that, you can have people just warp you to endgame through just being in a party and warping to each other. So you can very, 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 very quickly get a low level character to endgame and to high corruption through a combination of these mechanics. So it's not like someone's like starting a new character and like finding ways to like level through the game creatively and do it all naturally. Like they're using existing structures to do it, but I don't think they're cheating. Can you confirm if entangling roots from Spriggan, summon Spriggan can use our entangling roots tree in season 5? I don't think so. I don't think so. I really don't think so. I kind of hope it can't now that I've said that, but it'd be cool. I do not have an encyclopedic knowledge of every single thing happening though, so I guess you never know. Yes, this is it. Oh my god, are we over 500 corruption? We are. I knew I picked the 500 corruption one for a reason, but I couldn't remember what it was. That was close. That was close. Ooh. Do I have any that are worth doing? 8% sync strike. Ward gain shadow. 11 sync, no. Sure. That's pretty cool. Alright, pretty cool. Alright, yeah. Yeah, that works. Oh. Alright. Let's go. Time to die. Alright, out of all the suggestions, out of all the suggestioning, I think being thrown around in chat, how many would you say are cool in principle but are limited by the game engine, or fun but impossible to implement? Quite a lot of things that we get that I see that just like from in-game chat, Reddit, Discord, all these places. There's a lot of things I see that I'm like, that would be so cool. I know we can't do it. Maybe like 40% fall into that category, and then like another 40% fall into the category of like, that would be so cool. Maybe we'll do that. And then like another 20% fall into the category of like, oh, just wait, you should save that comment, just wait. That happens a lot where someone has a comment and I'm like, I wish I could just reply to them like, hold your breath because it's coming. Oh, I need to start that earlier. Okay, we need to get in the zone for this because I remember this being difficult. Super in the zone. Good job, Mike. Any new awesome mage uniques coming or anything to get excited for specifically for mage? It's the only thing I want to play. I would say mage is pretty light this season. There was a point recently where we were kind of like, we need to go give mage some stuff because there's not a lot there. Oh, it jumps every once in a while. I just like jumped really far into the blackness, into that big dot. I need to be more careful about that jump. No. Will we still be using lenses, or has that changed? Technically, I answer this question yes. But that's like, oh no. I'm having a tough time controlling myself. I just got to get out of that. I just got to get out of that first phase. But if I stop moving, I die. That's the problem. My health is so intrinsically linked to constantly moving. Yeah, I stayed in the middle a little too long that time. We'll get there. We'll get there. Rogue has a class-only weapon, which is bow. Maybe other classes should have something as well. It's funny. We actually, at the start of development, we intended for every class to have a class-specific weapon, and bow was actually never intended to be a class-specific weapon. It was meant to be a temporary thing, like well, it'll be temporary. It'll be class-specific until it's not. Come on, go, 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 go. Yes. All right, out of the initial part of phase 1. Pizza slam. Good, we got the line horizontal. We want it vertical. Oh yeah, good. Okay. We're making progress. We're making progress. We've done this twice before. We can do this. I've just got to pull my head out of my butt. Right. I think new class-specific weapons would be cool. I don't know if it would be cooler to have more class-specific weapons, or if it would be cooler to just add bow. Potion button. Work. I think I'd rather add bows to other classes than have class-specific weapons. This is where I think I'm falling on this right now. You guys are the best loot filter in the industry. Yeah, we do. Thanks, though. I got a silly question. Would it be possible to add custom sounds? The sounds don't spike my dopamine. We've really been cautious to avoid putting in like actual custom sounds. Oh no. Stay put. I almost need that jump to be smaller. I almost need that jump to be smaller. Is there a way to do that? I don't think we're going to be adding in custom sounds as an option. Go, 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 go. Yeah, okay. Pizza! Just yell pizza. Harbinger. Yeah, the balls. Nope, hit all the balls. That's what you got it. Yep, hit all of them. Totally the plan. Try and get him in the arena. Get the line vertical. I would love to answer a question right now. I apologize that I'm unable to do so. You gotta be fighting in that arena. Come on, I want to get him up higher. Are we this one yet? No! Ooh, that was close! We're okay, we're okay. We're not okay. Oh, we're so hooped. We did it! Oh, that's 3. Oh, feels good every time. Let's celebrate with the teaser. Oh. Okay, what do we get? Anything we really want? Some cool gloves, 1 LP helmet. Yeah. Okay. Whew. Oh, my heart rate come down a bit. Here we go. If anyone said a 2-hander, you'd be correct. We've got a 2-handed great axe. So you have a chance for cast Entangling Roots when you cast Upheaval, all above half mana, consuming mana equal to Upheaval's mana cost. So this is an Upheaval Entangling Roots combo set. Yeah. So we get spell and melee damage, and increased spell and increased melee damage on the item. Pretty decent range. Good numbers there. Oh, my heart's still pounding. I get so stressed doing that fight. Woo. Feels good though. All right. When will there be a good physical bow? Oh, I hope soon. I mean, there's some good ones. There's not great ones right now, I'd say. I'd love some great ones. I think people really tend to find the elemental items more interesting. And so I think we tend to err on the side of those. All right, are there any plans for weapon MTX made of pure elements, like a sort of pure flame, frost, or lightning? Ah, I see another Guild Wars enthusiast. We have great one-handed, two-handed skins, but none that match elemental builds this way. I'd love to. Yeah, like just a sword made of fire. It's just such a cool concept. I mean, you see it across all sorts of different IPs, different sort of, it bleeds into different genres. Yeah, so cool. Love it. Any plans for Aberroth's beast now it has escaped? Yes. Is it going to come back to bite us? Maybe. Maybe make level 100 be a soft lock for possibility of more than a T7/6. Chances are you're pushing into the 100. Players are probably more about min-maxing builds versus trying to have fun. Maybe if players know they won't drop, will allow players to craft more freely. I may be completely off on this, but level requirement for unreasonable items may be good, possibly unwelcome at first, but good overall. Yeah, I think character level is probably not the way to do it. I'm probably more of a fan of, you might be right. Character level could possibly be the way to do it. I think I'd be more interested in putting it in a content progression lock. So like saying they don't start dropping until, and we do already do this to a soft degree a little bit, but not very much. And so I'd be more interested in being like, like T7s don't even start dropping until at least 100 corruption sort of thing. Or like, things like you can't even get a T7 until you're empowered, or even maybe 200-300 corruption before you can get a T7. And having those like specific progression benchmarks. And I think the nice thing about doing it as progression benchmarks is that you can have those different progression benchmarks in different systems as well. So you can be like T4 Jeweler can drop them, and that's completely devoid of corruption pushing. Things like that. Any chance we can get an option to change how mobilities work per skill instead of just current general option? I know I hate playing Blade Dancer for instance because I don't want my dodge and dancing strikes to have the same way of aiming where they go. Oh, interesting. So like having one of them go based on your character's perspective and one of them go based on your cursor perspective. I think that level of I think that's almost the sort of thing that like frustratingly goes in as a skill node. Yeah, I think they would have to go with the skill node. With what's happening at the moment with GTA 6 leaks, I know nothing about this. I am so consumed in Last Epoch right now. I know nothing about GTA 6 leaks. My goodness. How how does EHG deal with the concept of content leaks? Yeah, I mean, I know what I'm doing right after stream now. I'm gonna look at what the leaks are. Actually, there's a different game that I think is launching in November that I'm much more excited about. If we're talking about November games, but as far as how does EHG deal with the concept of content leaks, it's tricky. Like, we haven't really had to deal much with it yet. It's a scary thing though. Like, it's this thing where you're like, you're the more people, it's the whole concept of like why certain conspiracies couldn't possibly be true, because then the more people you rope in, the higher the chance that something gets leaked. And like certain things on a scale of thousands and thousands of people knowing about it means that the chance of it leaking go exponentially higher, sort of thing. And so as you open up the circle to more people on the team, to more people in the community, to more people in like content creation stuff, and you get this like more people to know about it, the more chance something leaks. And it's nerve-wracking. It is tricky because like you work so hard on things like this, and having them be leaked early can cause serious problems with how they're received, because maybe it's like a version that's not ready to be shared, and then there's like misconceptions on why things are getting made certain ways and things like that. Yeah, so it's scary, but I think we just do our best to have people you trust know these things, and be careful with what gets shared where. We've been pretty lucky so far, I think. Go. I remember this time. I pushed over to the side. Yeah, learning. Nice gloves, though. So meeting a famous voice actor like Christopher Judge is huge. Voice actor. Is there a chance he might be voice acting a character in an upcoming LEO expansion? I would love him. If you're watching, call me. I would. I don't think of him as a voice actor. That's why I laugh. I think of him as a character actor. I mean, like a face in a TV show. But yes, he has done a lot of voice acting stuff very well too. Yeah, I think it'd be fantastic. I would love it. There's no professional relationship there whatsoever, and I would absolutely jump for the opportunity. Long time Flair, first time question. Welcome. Idle re-enchants literally never seem to accomplish anything for me. Sorry if this is already asked. Is there any chance of making it work better? This is a kind of an age-old issue. I think that there is a world where like idols become a bit of a focus for a future patch, a future season, mechanically, and maybe we're like revisiting Weaver mechanics and Weaver concepts and expanding on that. And maybe there's like new functions that are put in there for idols, but for right now, that they're pretty static in what they're going to be doing. We don't have a lot of time left, and I'm trying to hammer out these last few questions, so I might not even do much else here. I might I'll do a boss echo because it'll be easy because we're on 500 corruption. Follow up from the idol chasing versus gear. More idol questions. Wonderful. Maybe have the enchanter with unlimited uses in the Echo of a World. Sometimes have over 300,000 amber, but I can only use the enchanter / re-enchanter a few times per map after finding it or dropping the map. Maybe having the enchanter or the Echo of the World would be nice if the system is going to be in place. Having the enchanter. Oh, I read that line twice. Most seasons I'll find gear, but idols I won't find and play 400 plus hour season. I think that's a great idea. Make sure we don't die from something silly. Is there a reason Mage has access to a huge... Oh, there is a Harbinger that we're not going to die to, like I just said. I think we already have a perfect roll on the thing we want. Is there any reason Mage has access to huge more multipliers from skills for fire and cold, but not lightning? Not specifically, no. We do generally try, I mean, like, from the question, it may not seem this way. We generally do try to keep their access to elemental effects relatively similar. It might have something to do with the way that shock was originally structured. Would be my guess on that one. That's the wrong thing, isn't it? Yeah, it's the wrong time to use that. Oh, whatever. It's gonna spike up huge anyways. You know what we can do? We can go try this one more time. Are there any adjustments to player poison? I'm curious about poison because it has been very similar to bleed, but less supported by unique items. Yeah, bleed's an interesting one. Bleed's an interesting beast. It's a few times been crazy, unbelievably powerful. Because it has this like self-scaling component to it. Just punched me in the face for 10,000. Literally just punched me in the face. Melee attack. Oh. I don't think there's gonna be any major changes to player poison this season. Yeah, I'm like thinking about specific skills. If like certain skills got big changes for player poison, there's like a couple opportunities for some player poison stuff that might show up. There's like a couple items that might have some ripples that might make sort of thing. We're also going to drop the other. Okay, there's the other set item reveal from today is now in the Discord chat as well. So if you want the high quality image of that. All right. Can we expect to have crossbows, potentially one-handed crossbows for the dual wielding purposes in the future? I would, because this is so open-ended, you say in the future. Yeah. I think that's a reasonable expectation. How far in the future? Probably quite a ways in the future. I would love to do it. Crossbows is an item type I'm a big fan of. That's something that I will be pushing for to include in the game. It's an extra animation class, which is tricky to do. Figuring out where they fit, where they sit. Do they go on a new class? Do they go on a new mastery? Do they go on an existing class? Do they go in multiple places? There's a whole bunch of stuff there. One-handed crossbows are super cool. There is no work being done on these at all right now. So it's not even like being talked about or started. So I don't want to get anyone's hopes up about it, which is what my hesitation was. But that's something that you've got a champion in me for. Can you elaborate why you don't want players to have custom sounds for the loot filter? Probably for the potential for inappropriate situations. Would be the easiest way to put it. Please tell us those skills got buffed. Which skills? The poison skills? Oh, the set skills. The set skills? I mean, they're getting us some sweet buffs with these new items, right? All right, I think we are at time here. So we are going to call it. So on that terrible disappointment of me dying again, getting punched in the face, it is time to end. Thank you for coming. I had fun. I hope you did too. I hope you had fun. I know I did. I will be back same time, same place next week. We're going to have more item teasers leading up to more cool stuff as we get closer to the launch. We'll have more detailed information on exactly when things are coming, all that sort of stuff. Keep your eyes open, keep your ears open. We'll have more awesome stuff to show you. Yeah. All right. Where are we? This is the screen. Drink lots of water. I'm surprised Aaron's not streaming. Crazy. Whoa, that is UI glitching out. I don't even know if I can click on this. That was hard.